Rising from the ashes like the phoenix, it is the Absolution Sessions. I am your host, Sketch, the current host of the Toonami Faithful Podcast, doing some double duty because, I don't know, I felt like talking about Toonami more. And joining me, we have Duelist.
Hey, everybody.
Soul.
Hey. And oddly enough, I think we all may know that this podcast was actually originally conceived as a quote-unquote rival to the Toonami Faithful Podcast. So there's a bit of irony there, isn't it, Sketch?
I don't think it was at all conceived in that manner.
Maybe he means the Toonami podcast that predated.
Are you forgetting I was on the unofficial Toonami podcast?
Yeah, well, whatever. You get the point.
No, this was risen out of
Oh, let's talk about that.
Petty grievances with somebody that nobody pays attention to anymore.
I guess so. All right.
It is not a proud history here at the Absolution Sessions. We began, like so many other things, over petty arguments.
We haven't even introduced Caboose or Arthur or me yet, and we've already gone off.
Way to go, Soul! We're all right. Junior's here. CabooseJr.
Wait, I'm awake now? Okay.
Okay,
Hello.
yeah.
You're done with your nap.
It's like we were getting there, okay? Jeez.
And we have Rebelcheese.
Hello.
And lastly, we have Mr. Arthur Mesa.
How's it going?
It's all right. It's all right, Arthur. Actually, it's not going so great, all things considered.
No.
Oh.
We're all dead.
No, it is not going all right for Toonami because after tonight, Toonami's going down to 3.5 hours, midnight to 3:30, with all the back-end reruns going away, and the 11:30 slots also being removed after tonight.
I can be the jaded person in this chat and not feel as shocked and threatened that this is happening.
Okay, well, now we all hate you.
Good for you.
Well,
good for you.
So the shows that are being removed in no particular order is Attack on Titan, Space Dandy, IGPX, Samurai Jack. Bleach is gone as well, which is a surprise considering how much Toonami relied on Bleach for the last 3 years until it ceased premiering at the end of last year. And that leaves us with Dragon Ball Z Kai, Naruto Shippuden, Kill la Kill, which will premiere on the day of the Shrunken Block, Inuyasha: The Final Act,
One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece. Thank you, Duelist. And bringing up the rear is Deadman Wonderland, which is halfway through its 3 years late encore run.
You forgot Gurren Lagann.
The Day of the Shrunken Block.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. I knew I was forgetting something. Gurren Lagann, which is 8 years removed from its initial TV premiere on Sci-Fi.
8 years? Really? Oh, gosh.
Yes, it's been that long.
And in a proper order, starting off, of course, is going to be Kai. Then Kill la Kill is sandwiched between Kai and Naruto Shippuden. Then you have Inuyasha: The Final Act. And then Gurren Lagann at 2 o'clock. And then you have One Piece at 2:30. Cue the boo-hooing, myself included in a sort of way. And then at the very end at 3 a.m. you have Deadman Wonderland.
Thank you for correcting my order. I did not have my notes in front of me.
So, One Piece at 2:30. All I can say about that is, you're tearing me apart, Adult Swim!
Need to send them a buster call.
Oh! Unleash the buster call on Adult Swim.
Well,
program.
they said that DeMarco actually stated that the reasons why were ratings. Whoever made this call for scheduling was not happy with how One Piece was doing, so One Piece is getting shoved
I'm a little
much later than the rest of the shonen.
Scratching my head about that because Gurren Lagann pretty much never beats One Piece. And ever since they moved One Piece after Inuyasha, or rather moved Inuyasha in front of One Piece, it's held Inuyasha really well. So,
Do you think for
I
some
think they're
reason
looking.
that they might be expecting these last few Gurrens to do better given their content?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well,
And
we're
then
in the part where we're at the end of the second arc of Gurren Lagann, which is the Nia arc before the time skip. Yeah, and I just dropped a spoiler there. You may need to edit me for that. There's going to be a lot of rather intense moments in the next few episodes, and some of the best animation we've ever seen from Studio Ginix during these episodes. So they could be expecting it to do better than the episodes of One Piece, which are still in a rather slow moment, if I recall
They're finally at
correctly.
the fighting, so there's
Wait,
that.
wait. How did you pronounce it?
Studio Ginix.
Gimmicks.
Ginix? I don't think I've ever heard it pronounced that way.
Eh.
Gynax.
I would agree with
Gynax,
Soul.
Studio
but
Gynax.
figured it was largely whatever.
Also,
I have interesting pronunciations.
Yes.
Also, I mean, well, also I was
Including
going to say, I mean,
pronunciation.
also I was going to say, I mean, I think you have to look at it overall. Overall, like going back 2, 3, 4, 5 months, One Piece doesn't hold things very well. You know, I guess notably, Shippuden really it wasn't holding Naruto Shippuden
No, it
very
wasn't.
well.
No, Shippuden has been still in the slow episodes. The final episode of the Satoru Nishizono penned episodes, which were the slow part of Shippuden, that last episode of his run is premiering tonight as of this recording. And then Nishizono got fired because he couldn't pace the show properly because he was going too slow even for the studio. So they hired a guest writer to pen a filler arc, and then they found another writer to handle the rest of the series.
When does it switch to HD
That's a
again?
wise decision.
Next episode, not this one, but not episode 53, but episode 54 is the switch to HD,
Well,
which is of
maybe-
course the start of the filler arc.
Maybe they'll use HD footage in the new lineup promo that may or may not happen.
Probably.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'd like to hope so.
if they have the tapes by now, which they should have, or whatever digital versions of tapes that they
Though,
get for
The
this.
reason
not
why they
tapes.
might not is because there's always people that complain if there's spoilers in the promos and stuff.
There's nothing to be spoiled about when it's filler.
I know, but people will still complain.
And,
Yeah,
of course, and if
whatever.
it's
And
a
of
show
course,
that's aired
one
like 6 years
interesting
ago.
tidbit about the filler is that the English voice actress for one of the villains, Laura Bailey, her character winds up trying to seduce Naruto, and then the same voice actress goes on to voice Naruto's actual mother much later.
That's
awkward.
funny.
We need
And
we
bad.
need to strap you down to chill out your Naruto fan
Alright,
boying.
I'm just trying to shove us back on topic a little bit.
Yes.
Go ahead. I just thought that was funny. That's why I wanted to share that.
I think perhaps
Is-
the biggest shock about this development, at least as far as what shows are going and what shows are staying, is they literally just got the HD tapes for Cowboy Bebop at
Yes.
the beginning of January, and it's already gone.
Yeah, they didn't even really have a chance to properly run the HD tapes before they were removed unceremoniously.
At least we get
Hey,
Ballad
hey.
of Fallen Angels.
Hey, buy the Blu-rays. Da-da-da.
Ah,
I own that.
Well,
So do I.
I would say there's a slim chance that Bebop HD might return if the Deadman slot is being kept. If Deadman Wonderland slot is kept, then I think there's a good chance Bebop might reemerge and
It
take that
could,
slot.
No,
But given
nope,
its age,
nope,
even in
nope.
Blu-ray compared to other things they could rerun, it would make a lot more sense for them to air Titan or Dandy.
It's actually kind of sad in a way because, this isn't really their call. I mean,
No.
DeMarco, the last thing DeMarco would want to do was pull Bebop.
No, he wouldn't.
I would imagine.
Well, can we get into speculations on what may happen with the schedule a little bit later?
Yes.
yeah. So
They're gonna get Outlast Star. It's gonna happen.
I
One of
I
these
think that's
days.
within the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
I will
But
say
back
that
on
I
the-
asked.
Back on the topic of the scheduling, I think it actually is a fairly solid schedule for the mini block that's going to happen after tonight. I mean, they're going to put the two big guns, which is
Mini
Dragon
block?
Ball Z and Kill la Kill. They're going to be front loading, although in my opinion, Kill la Kill should actually be the front runner.
Midnight.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Well,
I just
That's
don't
fine.
know about sticking Kill la Kill between DBZ and Shippuden, because when they put
Yeah,
Dandy
that's what I'm
between
wondering.
Bleach and Shippuden, there was kind of an incompatibility situation going on there.
yeah,
I
Danny
don't
did
know
not
that
do so
that
well.
Kill la Kill would be quite nearly as incompatible as
That's
Dandy was with those two
true.
shows.
Because
Kill
Kill
la
la
Kill
Kill
has a
is
strong
crazy
action
amounts of
component.
action.
But I think that because of the comedic factor, which will immediately go down eventually, Kill la Kill does start getting more serious towards its second half. That it should be the front runner because it transitions better from the comedy into the action, at least for the first half of the show.
Yeah, I feel they're just a little concerned about what it can pull in compared to DBZ. And
obviously,
if they're concerned about ratings, the obvious choice is DBZ.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why DBZ is now which oddly enough has been the standby of Toonami on and off since 1998. Chew that one over for a second. DBZ is still so popular all these years later that's the show that they're trusting, albeit in an abridged / remastered, reanimated, whatever form, to be
Thank
what
goodness
pulls
for
in
that.
people.
We're already to the Saiyans. It would have been 6 months.
Oy.
Hooray.
No.
Yeah, they cut
Nuh-uh.
out a lot, and that's for a good reason. For the Saiyan art that they didn't even take any effort for Toei to cherry pick what moments to keep and what to remove from DBZ for Kai.
Mm-hmm. It's just too bad they're real lazy about their fixes. And it's
Yeah, and
also
there's
too
also
bad we don't have the Yamamoto score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Yamamoto score was one of my favorite things about Kai, and the fact that it actually ran for one episode on Toonami before some
Asshole.
joyless scourge of humanity decided to tell DeMarco that the score was removed. So
Thanks for that.
Bye,
yeah.
Chris.
Now, I understand that if they had not done that, there may have been legal problems, but I kind of feel like it would have been fine.
the fact that there was no fuss made about it until someone actually raised that to Toonami's attention meant that no one really noticed that.
On the bright side, this is the first time that we'll get DBZ with the original Japanese score on Toonami, other than movies.
That is true. Although I'm not really fond of the way they placed the original DBZ score into
Yeah,
the
it's a
show.
little haphazard.
They tended to use background tracks from the last couple seasons of the original DBZ and from some of the later movies, and then just scatter them all over the place, which doesn't really sit fine with me. But then again, the Yamamoto score wasn't placed all that well either. So I think that the music selector is basically incompetent.
Well, regardless,
At least all the other shows on the block have good music.
Yeah.
I will add a personal note here. I have kept my television on in a way that if it is, recording any sort of ratings at these times, it would be doing it. But I've chosen to watch my Kai Blu-rays and any DVDs I've had of the DBZ movies that have aired because I honestly just prefer those versions on the nights that they have been airing. So, I mean, you could theoretically watch whatever version you want and still support the block, so...
Yeah, that's right. Just leave your TV on and mute it.
Or DVR.
Or DVR.
Yeah. I admit that I have seen DBZ too many times to really want to watch it again. But at the same time, it is a critical period, and I agree with that sentiment.
At the same time, your average Joe.
Tell us about the average Joe, Joe.
I
Joe.
know, right?
Yeah, the average Joe can't get enough of DBZ, so what do I know?
I mean, aside from like Pokemon or mainly Sailor Moon, to bring to my attention, maybe besides Cowboy Bebop, an anime that you could put on that people are going to watch, even
The average
just
person, anyway.
randomly. The average American viewer, let's say.
Yeah. The fact that Sailor Moon's fan base remains as big as it is, even though it's basically been a non-entity for 15 years or so in the United States officially, says a lot about its appeal as well. And I know Toonami has said that they still get a lot of demand for Sailor Moon Crystal to eventually air on the block.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon of some sort is certainly a possibility for the block's future. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily want it there, but if it's going to do well for the block, then,
We are in preservation period.
I'm aware.
Yes,
Yep.
we are.
I'm not going to be
let's
picky
stop
about
debating
anything other
what-
than fairy tale.
Survival mode.
So
Well,
let's stop
well,
debating
here's the
what,
thing is that there's this-
score Dragon Ball is airing with, because that's not really helping anything.
Yeah. Well, this is a stable lineup to go with for preservation mode. Kill la Kill is basically the most famous anime of 2013/2014, other than Attack on Titan, and Toonami has that.
Well,
and
they
then,
did.
And then they're gonna run, and then it's being bookended by two long runners that are well known to Americans, Naruto and DBZ, and then Gurren Lagann and One Piece will probably be the ones that are going to be expected to try to pick it up a little bit.
All right.
Well, let's not forget
Well,
Inuyasha, which is
Inuyasha.
usually pretty studly as far as the ratings go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Inuyasha's held up really well for a show that could have presumably aired in 2010 and is only showing up now. It's actually doing pretty well.
True that. Arthur, you've been a bit quiet. What do you think of the lineup?
I think the lineup's going to be all right. I mean, Kill la Kill being at 12:30 will probably get a lot more ratings. And then where is Inuyasha going to be at?
1:30.
Right after Shippuden?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very solid lineup. And I think it'll be really successful in this preservation mode. And then we still have no idea when Intruder 2 will come out.
I think they hinted at this fall for that one.
Okay.
Yeah. From the hints going along the lines of we're still working on that. That doesn't make me feel like March is a possibility. But the
Yeah,
total
I
immersion
don't think
events
that's
always happen
happening
in
in
fall
March.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with never mind. I lost my train of thought.
Sure.
Go ahead.
But they said that the ratings were the cause of this, and I went back to look at some of these ratings, and I don't see any problem with the ratings we have from November to the last week of December.
Well, it
I
sounds
mean,
like
we're
he's
at-
literally looking at ratings on a sheet of paper.
Yeah, I had some time last night to.
Oh, you
Like some
did?
rate-
Okay.
Yes.
Whoa.
So, I mean, we're averaging I would say from where after Helsing, I'm starting in November, to where Samurai Jack was, maybe I'm gonna say maybe 500,000 or 600,000 during those time slots.
Yeah.
But
And
I mean-
600,000 in those time slots was generally considered excellent.
yeah, and Adult Swim programming thinking, that's not good enough. We need more.
Well, the thing about that is, it's definitely down from 2014 was definitely down from 2013.
Oh yes,
2013 was Adult Swim's highest rated year ever.
yes.
And
Because I think we had maybe 4 or 5 nights where we had like 4 or 5 shows over 1 million, if I remember correctly.
yeah. And that brings me to another point. Part of the reason why those shows did so well is how well the lead-in did. And
Yes.
that lead-in was excellent because
Bleach.
it had both, well, yeah, Bleach did well, but before Bleach, you had, as I recall, 10:30 and 11 was Family Guy
Boondocks.
and Cleveland Show, and then Boondocks led directly into Toonami. And at that point, Boondocks was doing really well, kind of before season 4. And that all did so extremely well that Bleach was able to pull in, I think, a 1.6 million one
That's
week.
the highest we've had.
Yeah. And if you start out at 1.6 million, it's pretty easy to maintain 1 million viewers for at least 4 slots, even if you have sizable gaps.
Right.
Because whenever
And-
people think of, hey, it broke 1 million, they don't usually mention how much over 1 million it broke. And that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think there was a few times that even Sword Art Online hit
Yeah, it did.
over 1 million, and it was airing at 2 a.m. Eastern.
Yes.
So that's a thing that that kind of happened.
That's something that I wonder is if it would almost make sense to, well, I suppose at this point it might be Sword Art 2, but air something that's going to garner
Keep
a
people
big
watching.
viewership. Yeah.
I
Just
almost
like if
feel
you
like they made a mistake moving Inuyasha when it was doing so well at 2.
They've probably made more programming mistakes than they'd care to look back
yes.
upon with. Well, Captain Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just a darn shame because I would say without question the 2014 year, the lineup throughout that year was so much better than 2013. Just so much better. Way better shows.
Well,
Yes.
Dandy did all right leading off the block for its first half, and Attack on Titan did really good too. But it seemed to me that the viewers weren't sticking around as much, and then the interesting decision to have Dandy in between shows.
Yeah, Dandy reruns between Bleach and Shippuden was very questionable.
And I think they kept it there for premieres for the second half.
They
if I'm
did,
not
and that
mistaken.
was largely fine. But by then, it pretty much settled. But sticking a rerun in the middle of the premiere block is just rating suicide, no matter what show it is. And they did it so that Dandy wouldn't get buried because, let's face it, at that point they had premieres all the way to 3 a.m., so it would have ended up at 3:30, and they didn't really want to do that. So the only option was to leave it at 11:30 or move it into kind of in the middle of there. And we've seen how that works out in both cases with Space Dandy and Attack on Titan. But I think another reason why Dandy did particularly well at the beginning of the year was before Adult Swim expanded to 8 p.m. and spread out their comedy strength way too thin. Because believe me, it makes a difference. If you have one American Dad and one Family Guy that you can work with, if you put them back to back, it's going to get way better results than if you spread them out. Because that's just the way the audience is. So the good thing about this lineup change is not only are we getting American Dad and Family Guy back to back instead of spread out, but apparently a few weeks later, when they free up an American Dad from the weekday lineup, they'll have another American Dad. So it'll be 2 American Dads followed by Family Guy leading into Toonami. That is going to do well.
Yeah.
You can't hope for a much better lead-in than that.
Don't change it, Adult Swim programming.
Because as much as I thoroughly enjoy Black Dynamite and reruns of Boondocks, they were not doing Toonami any favors other than
No.
losing to Toonami. That was a favor it was doing to them. It's like, what, that?
Doesn't re-
Attack on Titan's beating both of them? Oh, there might
doesn't
be a
really
problem
matter now because those shows are gone and
Oh no,
Toonami's lost
Boondocks
11/3.
is slinking back onto the schedule, but it's gonna be at 10. Not a big deal. Briefly, we get
Yes.
Robot Chicken on Saturday.
A Star Wars special.
Yeah, there'll be a Star Wars. There's a DC special this week, and then there'll be a Star Wars special, and then the week after that's just 2 regular episodes of Robot Chicken. I guess they felt like they were out of specials. But I was sure there was another Star Wars special they could have played. Oh well.
Might as well
is,
keep
by the
running
way,
the
good
specials while
idea.
you can. I mean,
Uh,
I'm sure at some point they're not going to want to keep running the Star Wars specials because Disney owns Star Wars now pretty overtly.
Yeah, that is true. Though I don't think that's
Yeah.
going to stop them from playing the Star Wars specials because they're going to play the Star Wars specials.
Oh, that's true.
Without a doubt. But they're not going to they don't cycle those into the regular lineup as far as I know. Even though they could, they don't, which is probably good for how well they'll do. Because if they play all the time, people are not going to find it, well, they're not going to be special anymore. Because there's a whole lot of Robot Chicken on Adult Swim, let me tell you that.
Yes.
It is pretty much being spammed all over the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So, I feel the main reason why this change occurred wasn't necessarily anything that Toonami did wrong in making programming decisions. I mean, the dandy in the middle of premieres wasn't such a good idea, and leaving Attack on Titan at 11:30 was a terrible idea, but they kind of had to do it because programming told them to. But other than that, and maybe having some incompatibility with shows, I think the largest problem is they just didn't have a strong enough lead-in, and that really hurt them.
Yeah.
And as for the back end, the problem there, I feel, is they lost Inuyasha, and that gave less people a reason to stick around.
Mm.
You gotta say one thing about the loyalty of Bleach and Inuyasha fans is they're valuable, that loyalty. And that's another thing. When Bleach ended, I swear, just some sizable amount of the audience just disappeared.
That I didn't notice that before, but you raise a good point there.
Though, to be honest, with Bleach, it seemed like the audience was kind of tapering off throughout the year because it was losing more and more viewers from Attack on Titan, and that may have just been a compatibility issue. But at the same time, I feel like we all know there's a reason Bleach didn't do a strong finish in Japan.
Filler.
No, that wasn't
Well, it
filler.
ended on canon.
Oh,
Yeah, it ended on canon.
What am I saying?
The last 26 episodes of Bleach were canon.
Oh, okay.
It was an arc that Japan as a whole despised.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's unfortunate because honestly, that's most of the Bleach that I watched recently, and I actually enjoyed it. So
I've
Yeah.
never liked Bleach.
They really tried to make that work because they hired really skilled animators for that filler arc, and nobody cared.
Well, not only the filler arc, but the canon arc had some pretty good animation that scattered throughout as well.
That is true.
We boosted Bleach's budget to try to make people watch in Japan, and it didn't work.
Yeah, and that is a crying shame.
Mm.
So, I also would say, because Toonami did so well in 2013, they raised the bar for what the back end has to pull in to be doing well.
Yes. Mm.
And unfortunately, it seems like they can't meet that expectation anymore. And even if it could meet that expectation, there's just no question with anybody at Adult Swim that comedy couldn't do better. Comedy's going to do better. The only way that comedy wouldn't do better is if they were relying on, say, encores of Boondocks and other comedies that they own. But because they can throw American Dad back there, it's going to do better. There is no question.
You know, just going, I realize off topic for 2 seconds. I find it funny that American Dad has become like as good and as watched, etc., as it has, because it didn't really start off as a great show that seemed all that different from Family Guy.
Yeah.
But that show, if nothing else, has gotten consistently stronger as it's gone along.
Oh, I agree. Family Guy's gotten pretty, but American Dad's still really good.
American Dad's been called McFarlane's Futurama.
That's a fair comparison. Man, I wish we had Futurama back. That'd be perfect for Saturday.
Arguably, Futurama would bookend at least the back half of Toonami.
I agree.
Probably better than any of the shows that... Well, I don't know. I don't think Rick and Morty airing around Toonami is the worst thing ever.
No. Rick and Morty airing next to Toonami would be cool.
I mean, it'd be cooler if they could stick stuff like Venture Brothers and maybe Black Dynamite around there and they'd actually get watched, but...
Yeah. Black Dynamite, no.
That would be a thing.
How about Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
I wish.
They should just play that entire Ant
Allegedly, Space Ghost is dead to Mike Lazo.
That's sad.
Well, at least Toonami is not dead to Mike Lazo.
No, Toonami is not dead to Mike Lazo. Anybody thinking that Mike Lazo is trying to kill anime is a dumb shit.
He's probably been instrumental in keeping it around in general, and was certainly instrumental in bringing Toonami back to Adult Swim in the first place. So
yeah.
So here's the point when I go ahead and let Mac give his theories on why maybe the ratings are accordingly not good enough anymore.
I have a theory.
You have a theory.
Is this gonna... Please do not let this turn into a Buffy musical number. That is all I ask.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this. What I was going to say is that the scheduling for Cartoon Network and Adult Swim have become oddly identical. But I do think that what happened in the late of last year, where Dish Network, with the Dish Network fiasco, which for the 5 people who aren't aware of this, Dish Network and Turner Broadcasting had a falling out, and Dish pulled most Turner networks of being available to be aired on Dish Network. I would know this personally because I have Dish Network. I was cut off from Cartoon Network and Adult Swim for a few weeks.
Ooh.
The ratings for Adult Swim and Cartoon Network have just plain not recovered one bit since the channels came back on Dish Network.
Yeah.
So I think the way the scheduling is, the method is that they're hoping by packing the schedule in with the absolute biggest and most popular shows possible and playing them and as much as possible, no matter what time of day, might get some of the viewers back that were lost because the Turner Broadcasting and Dish Network were fighting, and some people probably have learned to live without the Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, and they're not back in the habit yet of turning those channels on.
Yeah.
So I think that what's going on here is a bit of I'm not going to call it desperation, but I think there's an urgency here by the Cartoon Network's executives and probably Mike Lazo as well to try to regain the momentum they lost.
I definitely agree with that.
I agree too.
See, they have the upfront coming up in May. They're doing a upfront with all of the Turner networks together, which is a new thing. They've never really done that before. And they're trying to show a united front and strength. And it's hard to do that when you have numbers that say we're not good enough for your ad money. And that is the honest truth.
Blame Dish.
It's not just Dish, because even before that, particularly with Adult Swim, adding the 8 p.m. hour has crapped all over their total day ratings. It really, really has.
Do you
And
think
if
they
you
should
may
give
be
that?
thinking, nope, they're not ever going to give it back, because
Okay.
the 8 p.m. hour is much more valuable for adult ad time than it is for kid ad time.
Okay.
And that makes all the difference. Plus, amazingly, King of the Hill does pretty well there. It's because they've had to stretch out. Like, yeah, King of the Hill does well there, but King of the Hill did better at 9. That's just the nature of things with Adult Swim, because the closer you get to Family Guy, the better a show does. Is pretty much the rule of Adult Swim viewership.
Mm.
Which is also going to be beneficial to Toonami now, because you're going to have all that lead into Family Guy. So it's actually possible that Family Guy could get 1.8 million, even 2 million with that kind of schedule. Imagine what DBZ Kai could bring in if it's let in by something with 2 million.
Oh.
5 million?
So, Sketch, do you think I can, like, bribe Jose to sneak that Family Guy Toonami intro under the air?
Well, he really has no power for that.
It'll
But
never happen.
I'm
once it's
mostly
CNN, then
joking around.
one day it'll just show up on CNN at the brink hours of the morning. Just Family Guy Toonami intro. Well, you said you wanted him to play it at this time, but not that network. Well, what you gonna do? The other thing that I feel is a very unfortunate case is I'm sure that Toonami spent a lot of money, even maybe too much money last year, and they're likely getting penalized for it because, let's be honest, they spent a lot of money and not everything did well.
I wouldn't doubt that whatever was the deal with those last couple Hellsing episodes, they had to pay a decent amount to make happen, or
Yes,
something.
they did have to pay that. They did have to pay to get those.
I mean, I'd still love to know exactly what the deal was, but I can only assume it had something to do with how new the dubs of those.
Yeah.
Were.
Also, in the lines of things they couldn't have prevented, losing Beware the Batman kind of messed up their ratings pretty bad.
You know, what's bad is I feel if that had been able to stick around, it really would have helped things.
It would have.
Yeah.
It actually.
I think that
a lot of people harked on Beware the Batman because they just didn't like it or they wouldn't give it a chance. But the honest truth is, Batman drew in viewers that were not watching before and did not watch after. And actually, some of those viewers, even a sizable amount of them, would stick around for Hellsing or would show up early when they've intended to watch Hellsing because Batman was on.
I mean, there was press coverage when Beware the Batman got back on the air for Adult Swim initially. I mean, IGN put it on their front page that Beware the Batman's airing on Adult Swim at this hour.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that drew people to come in and watch.
For as many websites mentioned that Space Dandy was going to air as a world premiere on Adult Swim's Toonami, like twice as many or more mentioned that Beware the Batman was going to be thrown on at 3 a.m.
Well, the power of Batman.
Yeah, the power of Batman.
I love my Batman.
Everyone loves Batman.
I just thought it was really weird, even amongst the Dish Network situation, that when they moved Hellsing up, it did worse. How does that work?
I have no idea.
My one theory on that is this is a very, very fickle audience. If you promote something at a specific time, they're going to tune in at that time. If they tune in 1 week and it's not there, they're not coming back. They're just going to assume it got canceled. Because that's how TV works.
It's usually what I see every single day. in the YouTube comments. Everybody assumes that
Oh
something
man,
went away.
they got rid of Helsing after 2 episodes. What's the deal?
Then they bitch at me, and I'm like, I don't do anything.
So that's something they couldn't have prevented. They couldn't have prevented losing Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which was the other show that did reasonably well at 5 a.m. And they couldn't have prevented losing Symbionic Titan, even though it was off the lineup at that point.
One could argue that Cartoon Network only, as a whole, potentially made them not be able to get good ratings out of some shows by deciding to get rid of them. But
you could definitely argue that, and that is
especially with Batman. Although I'm wondering if that, are we 100% certain that the contract for that didn't run out and then they decided? I don't know how these things work.
Honestly, I don't know. It didn't seem like the contract would have run out because it was literally the same year, as far as I recall. That show started the summer before.
2013, yes.
Yeah, the show started the summer before, so it should have been, if it was 1 year, then it would have ended before that. If it was 2 years, then it should have had until the next summer.
Yep.
There's really no telling, but regardless, that totally screwed them up. And while they did what they could in order to play those episodes, it may have not have been the best choice to even do that.
I suppose it's possible it could be like a situation that some of us were just recently discussing, if could be a thing that the network selling the airing rights, back earlier than they would have originally had them for. I don't know if that's even a thing that can be done.
It can be done.
So on that note, do you really think they'd do something like shorten how long they have permission to air Titan reruns or something if they don't intend to bring it back on?
Possibly. And every contract's different. And it's a way different beast when we're talking about something from Warner Brothers and something from Funimation. There's probably a lot more flexibility in a Funimation contract.
It would seem.
Yeah.
Funimation's probably just happy to have their shows still have a spot on national TV, so that I would probably expect that their contracts would be more flexible.
Mm-hmm. And but one thing, scheduling decision-wise, that they could have maybe not done is put DBZ Kai and Inuyasha on hiatus right after starting them, because that pretty much screwed January.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
And I enjoyed seeing some of those movies in Movie Month, but I almost wonder if it was worth the cost.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't help that 2 of the movies were reruns as well. I mean, they played Acria and Summer Wars again.
Well, 4 of the movies were reruns, but actually, I feel as far as ratings go, those did all right. It was the newer stuff that didn't. The 2 Helsings did not good. One of them did all right. The other just no, nuh-uh. Yeah, and then following that with that was the worst night they could have played that Full Metal Alchemist movie, because it got horrible ratings after that.
469,000. That's how much it got.
That's the total. That's the total. I can only wonder. It's probably got Helsing, like 2,000 adult ratings.
And
not
Helsing,
200,000.
And Helsing the same night got 591,000.
Thanks, Attack on Titan reruns.
Yeah, that probably is what caused whatever meeting to happen to decide to dramatically reschedule the block, was probably that night.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, we'll see how you do after this, and if you don't do super well, changes. Yeah, there's definitely at least they could have done that and not do movie month, because I don't think the shows would have done any worse than the movies. And maybe because obviously they have to pay for every airings of shows, and they didn't really want to do that. And they probably got Akira, the 2 Ava movies, and Summer Wars again for very reasonable or no money. So there's that, but I think they should have just played the 2 Helsings back to back one night and not preempt anything else that month.
I agree.
But, oh well.
Yeah, next year they probably won't even have a month of movies, seeing how bad this one went down.
I don't think they're going to have movies much at all this year. They'll get Battle of the Gods if they can. And they'll get Ava 3.33 whenever that's available, but...
Yeah, nobody knows when that'll...
I was counting on Ghost in the Shell Arise, but now I'm not so sure.
They might. I still think they might run Arise just because they love Ghost in the Shell, and but
they might. But it probably is an expensive license just for like what are you could technically call movies that they probably wouldn't air very often.
Yeah, 3.33 seems to be in some sort of legal licensing something mess.
Yeah, they're redoing the dub or something.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
something
definitely, considering that the Studio Car is now personally doing the subtitles for Funimation, so obviously there's been something's happened.
Some kind of kerfuffle. So there's really no way to count on that. Just like there's really no way to count on when they might be able to get Outlaw Star or whatever. Or any Gundam. But this is probably not the year for Gundam Unicorn. Because that would be taking up 3 slots for 6 weeks and movie length the last week.
Yeah, I think going forward, if we can say nothing else, they need to be a lot more carefully selective about what they're choosing to air.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I think Psycho Pass is a good bet at this point.
Nope, especially since the 2nd season is critically panned.
Oh.
I haven't watched it, so can't really comment.
I haven't seen any of it.
I've only seen the first episode of that, and it seemed all right, but like something was missing. And I guess from
what's missing is Gin Urobuchi.
Yeah, he's gonna be back for the movie though, so
thank goodness.
Probably the movie is probably gonna just pretend the 2nd season never happened if it's really as bad as people say.
I think I have heard that it is pretending like the 2nd season never happened.
What about SAO2?
Well, SAO2 is a lock.
Yeah.
I would say that's a lock.
I'm pretty sure the question with that is just when, as opposed to
absolutely
if.
When does Gurren Lagann end?
March?
No, that's too soon. No, too soon.
It's more than likely going to replace Kill la Kill.
Yeah, I agree.
The other lock would probably be Tokyo Ghoul, because that's the show from late 2014 and this year that's got a lot of hype going around it.
It's good. It's definitely Toonami fare. Funimation has it. It's probably in the process of being dubbed, so those are all,
Yeah,
good
those are all very strong possibilities. So the only question is, how soon can they play it?
I really wish somebody would license Parasite, because that show is just begging to end up on Toonami.
Mm-hmm. Along with JoJo and Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter.
Save us, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Who has the rights to JoJo?
Crunchyroll, believe it or
Warner
not.
Brothers.
Crunchyroll seems to have some rights to it, considering that they even did a test dub for one of the seasons.
No,
for Stardust Crusaders. But Warner did that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think this smaller schedule shuts the door on anything from possibly Sentai in the future?
Not necessarily.
Yes.
I don't think they're gonna... They don't need to make deals with Sentai, so I don't think they will. But if let's say they have the highly requested Akame ga Kill. So
Okay.
there's that show. If that show is available, maybe they'll work out a deal to get that on at 2 a.m. Maybe. It's, there's really, it doesn't, the amount of time hasn't changed that status at all. Because they still have roughly the same amount of space to work with for premieres.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how it would change. if they haven't gotten a Sentai show by now, when they had so much space,
I'm on
especially
episode 13.
when
I mean-
Funimation, Aniplex, and Viz are gonna be shoving shows in directly to Toonami to try to get them on the air. I mean, Sentai seems to be very passive in comparison towards getting anything on Toonami.
They'd love to air their shows on Toonami.
Yeah, that's their reaction to whenever they get access.
That's what they say, but that's just
Yeah.
that's just a thing to say.
Clearly a lack of communication between both parties.
Well, that's been consistent between Cartoon Network and Sentai and its predecessor ADV Films for forever. So
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I personally do not see Aniplex holding on to 2 slots. I think when Gurren Lagann ends, Funimation will get 2 a.m.
I've heard a theory that Noragami, which has been a surprise hit on the manga end over here, could take the 2 a.m. slot, but I don't know how much stock to put into that.
Yeah, considering they're not planning on releasing it on home video until fall, it's probably a little early.
I kind of hope they'll figure a way to work out something with those broadcast dubs for something.
Well, that would
for
certainly
Toonami.
be nice.
Because
That's a good
frankly,
idea,
the
actually.
newest stuff they can get, if they have the money for it at this point, is probably a smart bet. Either new or popular, sadly. As much as I'd love for them to show some stuff that's probably like, some older overlooked Funimation titles, but whether that's a good gamble for ratings at this point is...
You almost have to... How do you define overlooked Funimation titles?
Have they even
I was
announced
thinking
what the
of
new?
shows like Darker Than Black and Gun X Sword.
Have they
stuff
even
like
announced
that.
what the new broadcast dubs will be?
Not yet.
What's that other one?
Birdie the Mighty Decode.
Yes, that one.
That one
I
has
think-
a save edition that got released. Do you know the ones with the lime green bars
Yes,
on the side?
yes.
Which means it's not... It's their last attempt to make money.
Yeah. So I'm not even sure they're even going to try to aggressively sell that one.
I'm just saying, from everything I've heard, it might be a show that would be good to.
It is a good fit on Toonami, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I think it would be a good fit on Toonami, but again, yeah, I don't know. There's a certain thing to be said about Toonami going for shows that people haven't heard about, and that would be a good thing because it would introduce more people to those shows. But kind of at the same time, people who would seek out those kinds of shows know where to find them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a balance. I would like them to have maybe one less known show in the mix, even if it's at 3 a.m., which may or may not just be a rerun slot for all we know.
And we don't even know if 3 a.m.'s even being kept after Dead Man finishes its run. That's
that is a question.
That's probably the biggest question here, besides whether the block is going to stick around and all that other stuff, and talks about future shows. Is the 3 a.m. slot going to stay?
Well, all I feel I know is I expect that any shows that end at this point, especially if they're not like at 3 o'clock, are most likely going to be replaced with something new to some extent. I do not see them. I do not see the last hour and a half being reruns that they just had to stop airing.
So you don't think they'll play Bebop again, or
the thing about Bebop and Space Dandy is those could potentially come back in that 3 a.m. slot, but it kind of depends on what they do with 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Personally, I want them to, after Deadman, just go into the second season of Space Dandy, and then when that's done, play Bebop. Because as much as I want to see HD Bebop right now, I more want to see the second half of Space Dandy get a second run.
Yeah.
It should definitely get a second run, in my opinion.
Of course, the ideal scenario is for them to do Bebop and Space Dandy and get 330 back.
Yeah.
It largely depends on what American Dad does at 3:30. I think that's going to decide what happens with those slots that Toonami just lost. If American Dad doesn't do so hot, or any of those shows do worse than the anime, then maybe we might see the Toonami get those slots back, and then we will have more flexibility. That may be what they're counting on at Toonami, but I can't speak for them on that.
I have my doubts on the comedy block showing weakness, particularly because it's leading off with a popular Fox rerun. Like, if it was leading off with King of the Hill, yeah, that probably wouldn't have done so great, but American Dad at that time of night is going to do well. That's perfect material for people coming home from parties or drinking or what have you and looking for something to chill out to.
You got a point there.
Yeah.
So what we can hope for is that the other parts of the comedy block kind of soften the ratings, and they think that perhaps Toonami could do better, not necessarily in that time slot, but if they expanded Toonami a little bit and they kind of contracted their comedy block a little bit, that they might plug holes, essentially. Yeah, it's all very who knows. And really, the only possibility for getting 11:30 back, besides another very big deal simuldub or an original action program, perhaps, which is just it's not happening. If say Family Guy and American Dad do well, but the comedies before them are showing weakness in primetime, they might crunch primetime a little bit and give Toonami back 11:30.
I don't think that'll.
Yeah, it seems unlikely because they know that nothing on Toonami is going to do better than Family Guy at 11:30. It's just nothing.
Nothing, period, is going to do better than Family Guy unless they magically got Futurama back.
Not even Futurama would.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I love Futurama, but the masses love Family Guy.
That's because we're hipsters.
Oh, man.
Not sure if serious or.
I'm not serious.
I was trying to play on that one Fry meme.
I assume it's a meme that's not called "Shut Up and Take My Money."
It's that one where Fry is squinting and the caption's usually like.
Oh yeah, that one.
I see what you did there. Not sure if serious. That's a good meme.
Well, since Soul seems to have bowed out early, I'm attempting to get Roger in here for a few words before we wrap up. And
You're attempting to get Roger.
You lost me when you mentioned memes.
I admit that I liked Roger's little cameo in the Family Guy Simpsons fight, though. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of you, Caboose, you've also been kind of quiet. Do you have any unfiltered thoughts on any of all this?
Shoot.
You seem to be at least certainly optimistic that the block's not going anywhere, which I honestly don't think it is either.
I try to talk, and I always get, uppercutted.
You just gotta punch us in the face.
I don't. Yeah, the blog. I find the blog is gonna be just fine. I mean, we have like an extra half hour that we originally had when Toonami first came back in 2012. But I mean, sure. I mean, it was just repeated, but it's not the same stuff. But I can see why One Piece wasn't doing so hot, but maybe it may be me, but I blame the flashback episodes that just kept on dragging on and on and
the filler. Yeah,
sadly probably came at not a great time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just
they should have just skipped them.
It would have been great, but it's not happening. As for the future of the block, I don't know. I'm just we have a solid lineup, and that's all that really matters in my eyes. I mean, as long as people are watching, I mean, yelling and complaining won't really do you much. All you can do is basically just keep on watching, and.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the lineup probably is even more solid with the loss of extra time where they have to air whatever. I mean, as much as I would have liked them to continue HD Bebop and such.
Yeah.
I'd have to think that because they went through the effort of re-requiring Bebop's rights, that they're going to try to get back on eventually.
Yeah.
All I can hope is that they didn't overspend on that.
Yeah, because that would have been a poor choice. Speaking of, this is gonna let you get more sleep, Caboose.
Yeah. I really thought 11:30 to 6 a.m. was a little bit overkill.
Yes.
I agree.
I mean, we were definitely spoiled. That's all I can say.
For sure.
I feel like we took the block for granted. I mean,
I also agree.
And that's kind of what happened back in 08. Flashbacks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, don't bring up 08.
I remember.
At least say like it happened
remember...
in 2007, because that's when they actually lost the 2 hours at the front of the block.
Yeah, because of the stupid, what was it?
Goosebumps. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh yeah, the summer of Goosebumps.
That's.
Well,
I saw and I was like,
Hey,
angry.
DBZ, Naruto, One Piece.
It's a real bummer.
And it was an hour of Naruto too. Naruto filler.
Yeah.
The filler hell.
Did I forget? Did Ben 10 Alien Force even do good on the block?
There's no way of knowing.
Probably
other
not.
than it stuck around for that ever since they added it. So
yeah,
that's really the only barometer we have.
Yeah, there isn't much ratings data from the end of 2008, from the end of Toonami in 2008.
Because it was nothing to be proud of.
Yeah, there was some ratings data that came out about Naruto during that time.
Remember that episode titled Naruto Dies? Yeah, that one did
the
really
Death
well.
of Naruto, that one did gangbusters. I think that was actually the highest rated single episode of a show on Cartoon Network that year, was a filler episode called The Death of Naruto. But Naruto and Toonami going away that year is a whole can of worms that we're not going to hold no whole story of until the crew of Toonami, led by DeMarco, leaves the network, since Sean Atkins isn't going to talk about it anytime soon.
Where are you, Sean Atkins? Hiding under a rock somewhere?
He's up
Yeah,
probably up.
he's hiding somewhere. He has a YouTube channel. I'm not gonna tell you the exact address, but he's around somewhere. He's just not active. He's like hidden.
He went
I
into
think-
hiding.
I'd want to go I'd want to go into hiding after giving Tom a face.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone
That
who
is
gave Tom a face should go into hiding.
A bad and amusing joke.
Haha.
Well,
For you listeners, we now have Roger from the Toonami United podcast with us.
Howdy, guys.
special guest star.
We kicked Soul out of the band. We replaced it with Roger.
What instrument am I playing here?
Sandies?
These chocodiles, Francine. These chocodiles.
So what was I going on about?
Sean Atkins.
No, I was not.
Well,
This
here's
guy-
the
One
other
Piece's
thing is though is
filler
that
episodes, maybe?
Before I talked about
it's actually. Go ahead.
before I talked about 2008. You know what I on an unrelated note, you know what I find interesting on the Tumblr post of changes? One of the tags is Deflategate. I just find that hilarious.
Oh, man.
I've seen too many headlines by sophomoric sports writers thinking that using the word balls in some sort of way is funny.
Oh, Gonzi.
Balls is a funny word.
Yeah, I legitimately, I almost wonder if they added that tag with the hope that it would attract more people to.
Hey, that's an
Yeah.
idea.
That used to be an old YouTube trick to get people to watch your
Yeah,
videos.
Tazon Day
absolutely.
used to be tagged in like every video. You know, the chocolate rain guy.
Yeah, I used to do that. I'd put in the description, this video has nothing to do with, and then just list off a bunch
This
of
video has nothing to do with sex, nudity.
Or rock and roll.
You're a scumbag.
Drugs.
It's actually interesting to compare the original Toonami's final years with the Toonami we've had in Adult Swim because Jason DeMarco, while he's considered to be a Toonami founder, he was not really involved with Toonami that
Nope.
much after 2005.
He was very
Until-
hands off. He just worked on the package.
Yeah,
I didn't
well,
know
Sean
that.
Atkins mostly ran things for much as he could anyway. Now that Sean Atkins has been gone from Cartoon Network for some years and now Toonami's back, it's fully DeMarco's baby. And I'm just curious what people think about the differences, whether you can see a difference in how Toonami presents itself or in its presentation or programs with DeMarco 100% in charge instead of Sean Atkins having the majority influence.
I love the presentation. I think it's better than back then in the old days.
That makes me wonder if the simplicity of some of the design choices is actually a choice rather than a necessity.
budget.
Especially
Budget
the
limitation.
music.
Well,
Music, yeah,
Demar-
music is definitely different now.
One, the Jules, Amon Tobin.
There's a
Or-
greater variety of music now.
There's a greater variety now.
I mean, they're definitely gonna take advantage of the Ninja Tune license that they have back again.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like
I mean-
back in the day they probably had mostly the stuff that was created just for them by Brian Burton and such.
Mhm.
I mean, I know they had Ninja Tune license like at least in the later few years, but I feel like even then they didn't use quite as
They mostly used them on
Most they
Tobin.
used it in IGPX.
They mostly
Yeah.
used them on Tobin for whenever they used a Ninja Tune song in the bumpers. They played them on Tobin a lot. They played
Oh, absolutely.
Easy Muffin for Gundam Seed. They played Ruthless for IGPX. They played Dream Sequence for Zatch Bell. They played a lot of them on Tobin in the bumpers.
False.
they still do it now.
They did not use Dream Sequence for Zatch Bell. That was DJ Remark.
I thought that was
It was
dream
not.
sequence.
Don't argue with Caboose.
Do not argue
Yeah.
with me. I know.
Junior knows what he's doing.
I know.
Okay.
I will back him up on this.
He knows.
All right. I
I didn't
surrender.
mean to uppercut you. I'm sorry. I just
So
I am now.
while this
Pretty
does,
much- music is the only thing.
I am now.
No.
Yeah. No, I deserve to get Shoryuken there. It's fine.
so
Ow!
3
Even
and a
in
half.
like the wait,
Go
what?
ahead.
Even in like the early Adult Swim days, they'd use like a lot of Toonami music.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they did.
remember. They used Hammer from Pelican Cities in the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they don't really. They seem to use the licensed music more than the original music manufactured for Adult Swim now.
Yes.
But I think the other difference to see is that Jason DeMarco really didn't have a say over Tom having a face or not
No, he didn't.
in the final years of the original. And this is the design of Tom now. This is 100% DeMarco's influence here. So it's like I don't really know what.
Tom's a lot more rock and roll now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I don't know what that
Jason.
says about Sean Atkins and Jason DeMarco and their influences when they're when one's the dominant influence instead of the other. But I think that the difference between Tom 4 and Tom 5 kind of puts it into perspective in a way that probably someone has better words for it than I do.
No, I agree with that. But getting back to the block as a whole now, even though it means less work for Junior, it also means less work for Toonami, so they can, instead of focusing on making bumpers for shows airing after 3:30, they can spend more time on the more important hours, making bumpers for that, making interstitials, game reviews, music videos.
I do like whoever was like, yeah, well, they can spend greater amounts of times in lineup promos focusing on
Yeah.
each show.
Yes,
or something.
Yeah.
exactly, because the lineup
Instead
promos
of it
lately are just
Space
this show, this show,
Dandy.
this show,
Yeah,
this show, this show,
baby.
this show, this show.
We might
Yeah,
we might get to see it tonight with the Kill la Kill promo.
I highly doubt it.
Nah.
More than
the
likely,
earliest-
there'll be a lineup promo on Monday.
The earliest I see a lineup promo would be on Saturday right before the block, because that's usually whenever they air.
Oh, that's a
lineup
terrible
promos.
idea. They really.
It is a terrible idea, but that's usually how the formula goes. But I mean,
There's
if
been
it happens
plenty of
on Monday
times that they
or
put it up
Sunday,
on
who
Sunday.
knows?
It's been plenty of times they put it on Sunday or Monday.
It would be best to play the lineup promo tonight in conjunction with the Kill la Kill promo. I agree. I'm just not sure whether they had the timing or resources to pull it off.
What piques my curiosity is Kill la Kill gonna get episode promos like Attack on Titan and Space Dandy?
Maybe the topicals.
I certainly wouldn't doubt if it did after episode 1, because they don't usually do one for the first episode because they use the
don't.
regular promo.
I'd be down. I'd definitely be down for.
I kind of want to see the Toonami
Topicals.
logo stylized like the Kill la Kill logo. I'll tell you that much.
I'm wondering if
That'd be cool.
I'm wondering if they're gonna change up the look pretty soon, because usually they do that in April.
I don't know if I
I-
expect anything with that, unless you mean like the cards.
I'm
I
sorry,
don't see that happening anytime soon.
No, okay.
Well, they might
I will-
actually overhaul the bumpers for this new lineup.
Probably not, because they didn't really do that whenever they, got extra hours, back in October.
I think they're actually happy with the way the packaging and the block looks right now. I don't think we're going to see a change in the general presentation for a while.
No,
I love the title look.
I don't.
Maybe when Intruder 2 happens.
Probably when Intruder 2 does.
I definitely don't think we're gonna see a new look with Tom or Sarah or the Absolution.
No, they
until
just
it's-
got a new
No,
game
no.
room.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they quote unquote just did that with Tom 3.5, and then
True.
Yeah.
they get to use it for very long. So
Not necessarily. I mean, they used it for quite a lot of times. I mean, heck, they even got to use it with the freaking Oblivion pie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're always gonna call it a pie.
Hi.
Well, I think it's time to let Roger Smith chime in on his thoughts with this recent development.
Referring to the block getting shortened, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, at first I was with Cheese on this one, on how, it's all a conspiracy. And in a way, I think that they are trying to pull in better ratings in general for Adult Swim because of Turner's huge crash last year. But I don't think Toonami's in any danger like it was, say, in 08, or like when ASA was in like 08. I don't think it's in danger of completely falling like out of thin air, and I think that as an audience, Toonami's audience could probably keep it on air for quite a long time because, hey, we were the ones that brought it back. And I feel like, yes, there are some very huge cons to this. I was in the middle of watching Ghost in the Shell. I don't like that being pulled. And of course then there was the Uncut Bebop as well. But there are some pros to this in that it'll dedicate more time to the premieres. The premieres will get really solid lead-ins because they're now putting all like their big shows in front of it. And I feel like definitely this is the time where Toonami can prove itself that it's worth keeping, and I think it will succeed in general, and I think it's been succeeding, albeit they dropped the ball on this, and I think they got rid of the 3:30 to 5 hours, hour and a half span too quickly. But I don't think Toonami's in any huge danger yet. I think that we'll keep going here.
The only thing I will comment on in regards to that is I really don't think that like last week's Toonami's ratings directly affected the additional hour loss.
No.
I'm thinking
No, definitely not.
the network, because I don't even know that those ratings had been generated by
I'm sorry, Dillis, I don't mean to interrupt. I think that decision was made probably maybe a few weeks ago
And again, I had like a minor theory that maybe they decided to weirdly do it a bit at a time to make people freak out less. Because I think I said this to somebody, but I was actually less freaked out by the announcement of the block being like half its hours than I was with initially losing just the 5 a.m. hour. For whatever reason, probably shock factor, I don't know. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of led you in with sort of bad news, straight into really bad news. But all the shock from losing any time was already taken care of, so you were like, oh.
Yeah, I think we were all freaked out.
I think it also was like a reassurance that we don't really believe that they would possibly lose more than maybe 3 a.m. now.
Yeah.
Whereas before we had to question, okay, so how much more are we going to lose?
I can't help but wonder if it's more likely to gain the 3:30 slot than it is to lose the 3 a.m. slot.
Depends.
It's up in the air, I think, right now. Time will tell.
I think if the ratings do well, maybe. But
we certainly have to get through a Saturday night before we can really say anything. So
yeah, who knows how all these schedule shifts will affect the audience in general.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, clearly none of us are watching King of the Hill right now, so.
I think that's another thing that's killed the Toonami a lot. All these lineup changes.
Well,
yeah, there were quite a few abrupt ones.
Shifting, because let's face it, there have definitely been some things like over the last year or so in lineup shifts that people, if they don't follow even the slightest Toonami news, will not be aware of it.
Hey, they didn't even know Kill la Kill was coming.
Yeah, if they're not looking at the Tumblr they're not going to be like, oh, this thing I didn't happen to see a promo on TV for. That's a thing I should prepare my viewing habit for.
Yep.
Which led me to wonder how often Toonami promos are airing during regular Adult Swim anymore. I mean, I know they were airing fairly frequently for a while, like last year and before that. But, I mean, I personally haven't seen very many, and I don't know
They
know
don't
what would
generally
airing.
play the lineup promo for more than maybe 2 weeks, and because we don't have the topicals for anything right now, there's really nothing that's getting promoted.
I mean, one could argue that the complete lack of promotion might make some people think that it's not even airing because people...
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they'll do more promoting with the block being shortened now.
Maybe.
I'm hoping on that.
Maybe that's a trade.
less-
Maybe a trade is you lose more hours, but we will promote you more.
Here,
Yeah.
trade.
I think that's a
Just one
fair
problem.
trade.
There's one problem I always had with even the AS action block. I felt like it didn't get enough promotion.
Oh, it definitely didn't get enough promotion.
No.
And when it
didn't
did get
that.
promotion, honestly, most of the time it was terrible.
Code Geass never even got a proper promo.
Neither
There's-
did Moribito.
Yeah, Moribito got a card that said Moribito starts blah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
And-
for Code Geass, didn't they do that douchey thing where they're like, where a guy on the message board said make a Code Geass promo, and then they took like random clips.
I mean,
Yeah.
just to use the most basic example, if you don't bait a mousetrap, you're not going to catch anything.
Uh-huh.
So,
And then they did do a promo for Durarara, but it was just Celty driving around on the motorcycle. And
Yeah,
I was like,
I-
what is
I-
this show about?
I feel like there might have been 2 promos, but they were like both like that, and they
Yeah.
did not.
The Brotherhood
me any
promo was
impression.
alright. The Kakaishi promo was... Well, it was
Kakaishi
Kakaishi.
promo,
The
I thought,
Kakashi
was really
promo
good.
was at least. It
Passable.
got me interested enough to check the show out.
I
Yeah.
checked it out.
They need more promos like Samurai Champloo. They need more promos like Samurai Champloo or like Full Metal. Those
Yeah.
had really good promos.
Those were
Yeah.
good promos. Or
One
like
of the
old
best-
Cowboy Bebop promos.
Oh yeah, those were really good.
One of the best
You mean
promos.
The reason I'm holding on to my remix set, yes.
The Read or Die promo was really good too. I like that one.
I like the final Full Metal Alchemist, the original Full Metal Alchemist promo where it's Edward entering the hall and you hear the dance music, the waltz music eerily playing while we watch images from the final few episodes of the show. It was
Edward
really
entering the hall,
haunting.
you hear the dance music.
No. I meant the creepy waltz music. That,
Yeah, I know,
that-
but I
Yeah.
wanted to make that joke.
I thought that was a really effective promo because it was really eerie.
Yeah, that was a great.
That'd be
promo.
like if they promoted Eureka 7 just with clips from that one episode with the rave happening in it.
That may have been a effective tactic.
Why have they promoted Rekka 7
So,
with
Janai.
the images of with the images of the complete mind screwing that happens in episode 14?
Yeah. Dear viewer, you are not going on an acid trip. This is just a Japanese cartoon. I don't get it. All the people in Japan are either little girls or monsters.
So
I swear they should
suppose-
have just tried to promote one of their shows as like a comedy.
That could have been a thing.
There's always
But
the
the
Lupin
but,
promo.
but the interesting, yeah, the Lupin. Well, the Lupin one was still kind of adventure-y.
Yeah.
Case Closed was badly promoted. Don't tell
Oh, that was a
anybody.
horrible
Oh,
promo.
that was a bad promoted. Oh, man.
Hanawasome Young Soccer Ace.
Like,
The only part of that promo I liked was pretty sure it's the knife in his back, sir.
Yeah, I love that.
That is a good one.
You get the cause of death.
I
Paranoia
still
Agent
remember
had a good promo.
Conan getting punched in the face with with the girl's bag from that promo. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, Jimmy getting punched in the face with the bang.
I'm so
Yeah,
sad
'cause-
that Funimation isn't still dubbing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
don't
whole
remind
thing
me.
on Case Closed, Detective Conan, but let's not. I have noticed
still-
that a lot of the comedy promos are getting more Toonami-esque.
Yeah, like Mike
Like
Tyson.
the Rick and Morty and Mike
Yeah, the
Tyson.
Rick and Morty and the Mike
they
Tyson
use-
promo and
They're using some of the
the
Ninja
Gargantua
Tunes.
2 promo.
I could cheat and
I'm
say
guessing-
Steven Universe.
I'm guessing this
Yeah.
is Jason DeMarco influence.
Well, remember that Steven Universe got a Toonami-esque promo itself when it initially premiered.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Well,
Yeah.
that's mostly what I was talking about.
with the Toonami.
What are you doing, Jason?
Well, he is VP of On Air,
Oh, I know.
so he
Yeah.
does all the promos. Or rather, he's the boss of all the promos. Yeah. Well, I think we've run out of things to say, really.
Did we?
What
I
about?
don't know.
Oh.
If any of you have anything to add, my only thought was maybe talking quickly about some stuff we
The
think
end
might
times are coming.
Well, I
No,
definitely...
Faithful, Toonami Faithful.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping the people like that will get as good of an end as some of those wall priests. in Attack.
Remember that Attack on Titan promo that was literally just
Yes.
people in the church and fuck!
That was like the best promo.
Very
Yeah.
last promo.
Take that, organized religion.
Do you guys have a favorite Toonami promo?
Oh.
You're opening a can of worms here.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Don't do
I
that.
think...
But I think
I'm
last
sorry.
year it was probably one of the Space Dandy promos.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Do you
did a
like
lot
the
of good
Helsing
stuff.
one though?
I actually
Helsing
really,
was-
yeah, the Helsing
Yeah.
promos were rather good.
Finally, Helsing is taking center stage.
I really didn't like the Blue Exorcist one because like the
They made
Howard
it
Parker
look
kept
cool.
pronouncing him Ran.
Ran.
The Blue Exorcist and
Ren.
Gurren Lagann promos are two of my big letdowns from.
The Gurren Lagann promo should have been so much better.
Yeah.
Hopefully tonight we'll see what happens with Kill la Kill. I'm hoping there's a good promo for that.
Really, my only complaint is I thought that like a Toonami promo and bumps for Gurren Lagann would have been like way more epic and rewatchable than they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like they pick very good scenes usually.
But I mean, one could argue maybe they're trying to,
Not spoils too
Not
much.
yeah, because I mean,
Well, right
Yeah,
now they're
you
still
could've
using
made a-
bumpers from pre-time skip.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I
Next
want
month.
some C-mode and V-roll jail time bumpers
It's gonna
With
be
the-
fun.
with the gigantic chicken man.
I was
It's gonna
so
be fun on the bun.
I was so surprised with the Black Lagoon bumps last year. How awesome they were.
Oh, the Black Lagoon bumps were great.
That one intro, they're like,
Yeah,
if
you're
you,
gonna get
if you're worried about your life, you better just stay glued for the next 30 minutes or something. I'm like, that was fantastic, and
You can't
thank
do
you.
But the music was just it totally fit with Black Lagoon. With that intro.
I
I
think
love
Junior
they
will
had-
agree with me that they fairly well nailed the packaging and stuff for.
Yeah,
Mm,
Black
Yeah,
Lagoon, yeah.
definitely.
Shoot, even whenever they switched to Eamon Tobin,
oh yeah.
was it Bloodstone?
No, it was Vanilla.
Killer Vanilla or something?
Killer Vanilla. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the track on my phone.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that one.
They picked some really good bumpers for the current.
The Killers.
These
The
are-
Killers Vanilla.
Yeah, for my favorite promo, are we talking about like Adult Swim Toonami, or are we talking about?
Let's say over the past year.
Adult Swim Toonami.
Okay. Shoot.
The Lucky Sevens promo.
Cute, weird girls.
Just the beginning of the promo was funny.
Yeah,
Well, all good things must come to an
if
end.
they did anything like that, like right now, it'd be in extremely bad taste.
No, don't
Yeah,
do that.
I mean,
Did anyone notice how the Fooly Cooly promo was very similar to the Symbionic Titan promo?
Really?
Yeah.
What one?
The
The Fooly Cooly
High
Symbionic
school.
Titan. High school. Puberty. Same thing.
Yeah, you know, the Symbionic Titan promo did not really do that show justice.
Cartoon Network didn't do it justice.
Well, Cartoon Network's promos were pretty good, as I recall.
I
But
still like the Fully Cooley Gotta Toonami promo.
yeah, that is nice.
I still kind of wanted to see some other shows get them, but I understand why they didn't spend the time.
Like
on
Samurai Jack.
it. Or, I mean, making a Toonami promo for Cowboy Bebop. Well, I mean, you suppose you could
Oh
argue
man, I would have
that's the
loved
point, but
the
I would have
Toonami
liked
promo
it.
for Cowboy
Yeah.
Bebop.
Yeah.
Well,
Back in the
if
ASA
it comes
days, they
back,
used
if
to
it comes
promote-
back, maybe they will.
Back in the ASA days, they used
The
to promote their
return.
reruns, so that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, they did.
Like some reruns promos.
Going back to comment on what Junior said really quick about it being bad taste to make a Toonami cancellation joke right now. I feel like they are equally capable of spinning some Tom 5 Steve Bloom type yarn to reassure us.
I think Steve
You
said
know,
something about that on Twitter.
The
yesterday.
whole plans in place to secure the future type stuff.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I don't know about using that same line,
That's-
but
No.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
said that before.
I still have a vague prediction that he's going to use some line about like tightening belts.
Maybe.
Although I didn't really like the rerun speech because I like reruns. So
Also,
What's
that was
fun-
not a good timing for the rerun speech because most of the shows at that time were not reruns.
That reruns promo actually rings a lot more true when I watched it the other day with the clips
Yeah.
used in it.
Remember that
There's-
old?
There's Deadman clips, there's Bleach clips when Bleach was actually rerunning. And, you know, Bebop, Ghost in the Shell. It
Yeah.
wasn't airing Cash Earn, but, you know.
Mm.
Remember that old
Can
Tom
never
quote?
do the rerun speech.
If you squint really hard, they almost look new.
Yeah,
oh, I love that one.
that was in an intro.
Apparently they got in trouble for using that line.
Really?
I believe it was answered on the Tumblr at several points, yes.
They got in trouble for that line?
Yes.
Why?
Because I guess somebody wasn't a fan of their humor.
But that's so funny.
It
I know.
is.
Why are you people joyless and have no sense of humor?
Who is this man?
Hey, all I know is it's the second best thing you can do by yourself.
the way he's holding the
To be honest, when
have you know Toonami, I watch Toonami with other people.
Uh,
I still can't think of a favorite promo. I really can't. It bugs me.
It's just so many.
there is so many.
The Akira one
So
I
many
thought was really
promos, but
good.
apparently not a Naruto Shippuden one.
Well, I didn't want to count any of the movies because those were just like one-time deals.
The Ava ones were really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ava one's pretty good.
Well, Summer Wars was a 2-time deal.
Well, they.
Yeah,
I feel like
Summer
almost-
Wars and Akira, at least they got
Yeah.
more usage out of the Akira and the Summer Wars and the
I was hoping they
was-
would do month of movies this year because just to make it a holiday tradition, man. Because
I don't know, man. We
You
might
don't
lose
know?
even more time.
Like I said, if Toonami
Let's not play
drops
with
down to
fire.
a half hour of Kai, I'm out. Toonami. Only Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Oh, come on. They'd give it an hour.
I got it.
And
Promo
then
for Soul
for-
Eater. I enjoyed it.
Oh, that one was really good.
Was good.
That was my favorite.
Was
Still
good.
glad they aired Soul Eater.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
back
Even as-
further than that, then I feel I should probably say one of the One Piece promos.
Yeah.
Soul Eater. had
Pirate
very-
Steve Bloom.
Yeah,
Pirate Steve Bloom.
was pretty good.
I still love that game review they did for Assassin's Creed Black Flag at the end of the poem. I'm giving it an R.
I will say that the pirate Steve Bloom promo probably still had one of my favorite like tracks that was used on the new Toonami.
Same.
I think it was like I'm gonna look this up really quick. You guys talk about
Speaking of
something.
Pirates,
What are we talking about?
Creed, man,
Well,
they really
I was gonna
love
say
Assassin's
that-
Creed Black Flag.
Yeah. And then
I
they
like the
did
Casherin promo.
Yeah, the Castron promo actually was rather good.
I recall feeling that it was better than the Dead Man promo.
Yeah.
Which was still pretty good.
No, they needed to include the Super Jail theme.
They're missing a
speak-
golden opportunity to put
Oh.
Super Jail right after Dead Man Wonderland.
The track I was thinking of from the One Piece pirate promo is "The Perfect Occasion" by RJD2.
Love it.
I could have told you that if you could have asked me.
I did technically ask you. I looked at your channel.
Which is as good as asking him. Okay, I think we prattled on long enough.
We may have done that.
Seeing as my
Is there-
battery's about to
Let's
die.
discuss music.
Yeah.
We'll be our
Y'all can
own
discuss
William
music
Street.
as much as you want, but I'm getting out of here.
We'll be our
Yeah,
own William Street
probably should
music
get-
club. We'll do
Alright,
it.
did
Let's do
anyone
it.
have anything else they wanted to add regarding the current situation, so to speak?
It's
We're all
fine.
gonna
Why do you
die.
ask?
Hashtag watch Toonami.
Hashtag
Oh, yeah.
watch Toonami. So we don't have to hashtag bring back Toonami.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna get a lot more sleep now.
Yeah,
Well,
that is
we
one
fell
thing
off
we
no
didn't
sleep.
say. One of the only things that I really like, kind of, about it is that I feel I'll be able to watch the entire block now.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah, I feel the same way that the
7.
entire block's
Doable.
you can,
13.
it's doable.
Eh.
It's not a challenge the way it was.
And back in the day, Toonami used to be 3 hours long on weekdays.
Yeah, 2 hours, 3 hours. Eventually, it was 4, but honestly, that's not when it was doing so hot. So
I think it was when it was 3 hours when it was doing hot.
Well, 2004 to 2007 is when it was 4 hours long, so
Yeah,
it was 4 hours for a long time, pretty consistently.
yeah, that
and
was
that
weekly.
did well for quite a while, but
But 6 hours.
6
it
and a
would
half
mess-
hours.
Especially at those hours. I mean, 12 to 6.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
11:30
could pull
to
it
6.
off if you took a nap or something, but
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
just I can't nap during the day. Like as soon as I wake up, I'm up
Yeah,
for
it's
like
true.
the whole day.
And I'm in-
except for earlier in the podcast.
And I'm in college and it messes up my sleep schedule.
can't have
I
that.
just set up the DVD recorder, let it go to sleep, and then wake up in the morning.
Yep.
So, Caboose, do you think there's a possibility we'll see any promos before Toonami tonight?
Thanks for the reminder. I need to get my thing up.
Ladies and gentlemen, Caboose is getting his thing up.
It's gonna.
Who am I kidding? There's no ladies listening to this. Okay.
Well, I
maybe
mean,
not
Hank
you.
Hill right now is shaking some rubber snakes, so that's something.
Whoa!
Will you talk about my rubber snake?
Whoa.
Uh,
I'm not even joking. Like I'm watching it right now.
I figured.
Well, soon you'll get to watch Rick and Morty.
Yay.
Woo.
Hey,
So-
Morty, why is Hank shaking his rubber snake? Morty.
Sketch, clearly I should ask this live while recording, but do you intend to have this up this evening, or?
This evening? Well, I could if I just throw it on there. If
I don't
I'm-
honestly know if it needs much tweaking, so who knows?
I don't really care. So it's
It can't
going
be
up.
any worse. It can't be any worse than a couple we've put up there.
Nope. And language was kept to a minimal.
Especially, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
my mom's home. I can't say anything.
Well, that
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been one hell of a session.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
energy in here.
Yes.
I think that's all the damage we can do here.
All right,
Wow.
time to
All
go
right.
head to our televisions and our tweeter devices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toonami only from midnight to 3:30 on Adult Swim.
The
Hit
Saiyans
Next
arrived
week.
tonight.
Next week.
I
Oh,
hate
yeah,
how
that's right, sweet.
spoilerific the Dragon Ball Z Kai titles are.
To be fair, the Z titles were equally bad.
Yeah.
Goku
Spirit Bomb,
survives.
Triumphant, the Death of Mesa, etc., etc.
There's always like that one episode in a long-running shonen where it's the main character and then dies, and like the worst one is the one called Naruto Dies, and it's a filler episode.
Oh.
I think we were actually
exceptionally well. Everybody wanted to see Naruto die.
Well, in a
Believe.
sense, he did die. They just faked it.
Oh.
And my memory of the episode is correct.
Okay, we're talking about Naruto filler episodes. It's definitely time to go.
Yes, probably.
By the way,
is.
I realized I made a mistake on the Naruto Shippuden stuff that I was talking about earlier. This is the second to last episode of the bad Shippuden writer. We have one more episode to deal with him. Then we have 17 episodes of filler. Then we're to the good Shippuden writer.
Aw, does that mean it doesn't go into HD when Kill la Kill premieres? That's unfortunate.
No, that's going to be the last standard definition episode.
Well, whatever. Hopefully they don't stretch the HD picture.
Yeah, we'll find out on Valentine's Day how the HD tapes of Shippuden will be presented.
HD Naruto is your Valentine.
Oh, Valentine's Day falls on a
Yeah,
Saturday.
hey, you know what? That actually makes me wonder. Are they gonna do a Valentine's? Any certainly falling on that.
I think they'll
don't
do something
think
for
so.
Valentine's Day. I went rule it out.
I hope they do something.
We'll see.
They'll just mention it in the intro.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like,
maybe
hey
there'll be
Sarah,
pink
remember
bumpers.
when we used to do those Valentine's Day marathons? Oh yeah, Tom, I remember that. Yeah, good times.
That's about it. I mean, really.
Maybe they'll have pink bumpers.
Pink bumpers.
I don't.
Or a
Pink?
little
No,
heart.
no, they should be a passionate red color.
Ruby or Garnet.
Yeah.
I think I just killed the podcast.
It just
We're
made
not
me
talking
think
about
of Steven Universe.
Yeah.
I actually kind of hope. What do you think? Never mind.
Watch Steven
Okay.
Universe.
Okay.
Watch it.
Watch it when it plays. I think it only plays on Thursdays and occasionally
Yeah.
marathons.
Anybody like Teen Titans Go?
No.
I think that.
I laugh at that show.
They managed to make a superhero cartoon worse than Ultimate Spider-Man.
That is an accomplishment. I don't feel it is worse than Ultimate Spider-Man because at least this is funny.
Humor's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
I don't find either show funny, but Ultimate Spider-Man's marginally improved into season 3, in my opinion. Teen Titans Go's gotten worse.
Yeah, Teen Titans Go has gotten like especially very, very juvenile.
Yeah.
I'd
Who
say
needs
my
more
Cooties.
superhero cartoons where all the characters are jerks?
Yeah, then
Teen
that's
Titans Go is not a good role model for children.
Well, neither is SpongeBob.
Got me there.
That's what they're doing next
I've
month.
been hearing an increasing amount of people laugh like SpongeBob over the last couple of years. They with a similar laugh. It's getting on my nerves. That was-
Yeah.
I'm
Shut
ready
up,
for
Bob.
Toonami. I'm ready for Toonami.
Did I just hear Peter Griffin?
Yeah, I heard Peter Griffin too.
Say,
SpongeBob. Let's watch Adult Swim at 11:30.
Patrick, let's do it.
Wait, as far as the people watching reruns, oh boy, 3 a.m.
Now,
Pat,
what's up
actually-
at 3
I
a.m.?
actually would not mind if during daylight savings time they ran the fight between Peter and Homer Simpson because that was actually a pretty cool fight. In a way.
Hmm.
It is. I mean, granted, Western animation didn't really have much in the ways of cool action sequences on TV that wasn't in Legend of Korra, but that was actually pretty nice, especially when they went all DBZ for a couple minutes there.
That was an entertaining fight, but that wouldn't they just play the whole episode? And I don't know if they would play the whole episode.
You don't need to play the whole episode; just play the fight.
no, just
There's
what
no
you do is-
context necessary.
What you do is you play the fight from Da Boom, and then afterwards you play the Peter Griffin, Homer Simpson fight.
Yeah, you
Family
just
Guy's
play.
best fights next daylight savings time extension.
Yeah, there we go. All the chicken fights. There we go.
Chicken fight.
What hour would be cut on daylight savings?
Oh
Effect-
man, I don't even.
I'm not sure any hour's going to get cut. Actually, that's usually 3 a.m.
They,
Okay, good.
Well,
Go ahead,
yeah, but
go ahead.
Toonami's partially at 3 a.m. So.
So you just use whatever's in Deadman's slot then. But we're actually going to gain an hour.
It would
first.
be nice if Fox reruns were the thing that was cut, but who knows?
Please.
Well, I think it would probably be more likely than not Fox reruns in the comedy block, like the 4 a.m. part. But I
So
don't know. Yeah, we'll see about daylight savings time, because if they do preempt any of Toonami on daylight savings time, aside from like the 1 a.m. hour, which I doubt they would do, that would mean that Gurren and Deadman don't end the same week. And
well,
that
all
may or may not
remains
matter.
to see what happens.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Whatever happens, happens.
Hey, maybe if two new shows don't come in the same week, they won't get a combined promo and people won't complain.
That is a good point, but the problem with that is they have to make more bumpers.
Yeah.
Oh
Hey.
no.
That's, their problem, not mine.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
Well then, to end the discussion and the podcast, what do you think are the most likely chances of what are the two shows you think are most likely to happen in March?
That's
One
tough.
at a time.
Sketch, why don't you go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know, and I have no opinion.
Okay.
I will. I'm just gonna throw what was Soul's idea out here. Is that somehow you're getting some form of Sailor Moon?
But in March?
I don't know.
Mm.
This is what he thinks might be a thing. So
Well, Sailor Moon Crystals is going to start airing on TV in Japan in April, so it would be beating the Japanese broadcast like the way Dandy did technically, because all those Sailor Moon episodes have only been airing on the web.
Oh,
So-
all I
yeah.
know is please give us the fixed animation.
Yeah, the fixed
Yeah.
Blu-ray
Crystal.
animation. I mean, I'm not going to rule out Crystal, but I don't think that's going to be in the cards for a little while longer.
Yeah.
Tokyo Ravens is a name I've seen thrown out a lot, and it's actually going to be its first half is going to be released in March,
Yeah.
and it stars Stars are Caitlin Glass, who was Winry in Full Metal Alchemist. So 10 years ago, she was Winry. Now, 10 years later, she's a different heroine. So I think Ravens, while it's not the most original show, it's solid and entertaining, has some good animation and a solid musical score, and the English dub cast list is pretty solid. So I would say that it could follow the tie-in model and premiere just as the volumes come out.
That's the thought.
Yeah.
Any other quick suggestions?
In March, probably not Tokyo Ghoul, so maybe like Psycho Pass, maybe.
No.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a professional.
Yeah. I mean,
bold prediction.
Yeah.
Bold
So I would
prediction.
say,
all right. Let's say on DST they preempt Gurren Lagann, so that means one more week Gurren Lagann will be.
don't we gain an hour?
We lose the hour first.
No.
We gain the
Lose
hour
it,
at the
no.
end of the year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
No,
we
yeah,
lose
that's
the
right.
hour.
I thought it was the other way around.
That night we don't play Gurren Lagann. That delays Gurren Lagann 1 week, which means the first week of April would be the first week of the next show. And I'm gonna say bold prediction: Ninja Slayer from Animation simuldub. That's what I'm going with. That or they
Only
dub
if
Tokyo
Funimation
Ghoul
has
really
it.
fast. Otherwise, I have no idea.
I would rather they dub Tokyo Ghoul really well than fast. But in my opinion, Dandy
Yeah,
was a
Dandy
pretty
turned
good
out.
dub, and
They
you
can
see how fast
simuldub.
they
It's
had
not,
to do
it's
that.
not a big deal.
Oh, something that has already been simul-dubbed, so would be possible. But I don't know how the rights are with that. But Laughing Under the Clouds, I think, would actually work rather well on TV.
Mm.
I've seen a few
Yeah.
episodes of it. It's
I
kind of
haven't.
like Kenshin meets something else, more humorous. But also maybe they're gonna get something from Funimation. There's several titles they could probably choose from or work something out with. Psycho Pass is a possibility. I don't know that now's the time, but you never know what they think will do well, so.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Aniplex is gonna be more interesting. Like, will they replay a show? What will they do with that other Aniplex slot?
A lot of people seem to think at some point we're going to get Magi airing, which
Maggie.
I haven't seen, so I can't
It's
really comment.
Shonen.
I stand by how I pronounce it, Arthur.
It should be Magi.
Yeah, Magi or Fate Zero are the two Aniplex shows that keep getting brought up over
Madoka.
year after year.
Can we
Or
get Howard
that
Parker
Madoka
to say
too.
something obnoxious like the gift Magi?
I am
Fate
not
Zero
ruling
has
out
odd
the
run
possibility
times,
of the
though, so.
irregular Magic High School. If Aniplex dubs that, they'll probably try to put it on Toonami.
I could see that happening in my worst nightmares.
Caboose.
I thought Sword Art was bad. That was even worse.
Hello. Hi.
We're going to get Future Diary replacing Dead Man, right?
Yeah. Let's do that.
I don't want to listen to that horrible script again.
No.
A Toonami exclusive dub of
Future Diary,
I
more faithful.
I just want to see Madoka on there.
Same.
I would definitely like to see it because it would give me a reason to watch it.
I'd like to see it on there too, even though my thoughts on the dub are that it's kind of but they would honestly have to promote that show a bit spoilery, in my opinion, to draw in the viewers that they probably would want from it, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I love how the show fools you.
I wonder.
First 3 episodes.
Yeah.
All right, so
I can't get past the 4th episode. I can't. I just
So
zone out.
So those show predictions are something from Aniplex and something from Funimation, most likely of the newer variety. Then, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, they're gonna get that Nura show from.
Is Nura
Is-
Rise of the Yokai Clan. No.
That show
Or-
has not done well
Or
so far. For
Soul's
kids.
other random prediction, Claymore.
Claymore was rumored back in 2007, believe it or not. It was
Claymore-
heavily rumored that was going to air alongside Death Note, and it never happened.
Wait, wasn't like Vandred like confirmed back in 2003?
It was
Might have
confirmed
been
Toonami,
briefly.
wasn't it?
Doubt it would pop up now.
Talked about
Yeah.
it.
I think, yeah, it was
It
confirmed.
was confirmed for
somewhere.
Toonami, but obviously they couldn't edit it to the point where it was airable.
Yeah, and then there was rumors about it being on Adult Swim. Then Stars took it.
Took it. Yeah.
Yeah, this kinds of stuff.
You want to
happens.
hear my
Yeah.
predictions?
I'm pretty sure that's why Jason won't talk about any shows he
Mhm.
likes anymore, because then
I wouldn't be
Well,
too worried about
not that other
poachers
networks
now,
are
other
carrying.
than like Netflix.
and, yeah. I feel if Tom gave us a State of Toonami promo, it would
Tonight.
be very different than one talking about action
Alright.
cartoon blocks popping up everywhere.
Let's let Arthur say his prediction, and then we should wrap this up. We're almost at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are at the 2-hour mark. I was thinking from Aniplex, and I really want to see Madoka. I haven't got to finish it yet. And then the other one I was thinking, because of Funimation, what about Jormungand?
Ah,
I mean, that would fit. I mean,
I would like to
I'd
see
start-
Jormungand.
I certainly like to see it.
I
on
think
there.
Jormungand
Yeah.
is
One we
perhaps
forgot, by the way, Sketch.
a better play than Psychopaths right now.
fit. Yeah, I would
Sketch,
agree.
We were talking
mean-
about
Yes,
Bento. too.
totally random choice, but Bento would be fun. I quite enjoy the dub.
It would.
And also, Jormungand's the creators of Black Lagoon
that's-
made this one.
A little
think so.
misleading. There was like one person that worked on Black Lagoon that also worked on Jormungand.
So you mean they couldn't accurately make a promo like for the Soul Eater where they're like from the makers of everything else? you
Yeah.
like?
Like they did with Dandy from the people that brought you Full Metal Alchemist, Soul Eater, and Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop.
Even though it was really just the same.
I
studios
do
as
hope that
FMA
in the
and
Kill la Kill
Soul Eater.
promo they say something in regards to Gurren Lagann, but
Fine.
honestly, Kill la Kill's more notable
need
than Gurren Lagann right now.
We need a new show where Tom can use the good guys still wear black.
Darker
quote
than
again or
black.
something. That's what I was
Wow.
thinking.
That'd be
That was
nice.
the thing.
Or they randomly decide to replay Durarara because of season 2, but that's probably not
I
happening.
was hoping. I was hoping they do that promo with Beware the Batman.
Yeah, they should have done the good guys still wear black for Beware the Batman. Why didn't they do that?
Vaguely related to coulda shoulda. I randomly tweeted a suggestion to Sarah, the editor at Toonami, about
Revolution
using
will be
that,
televised.
the Revolution will be, from Deadman. I'm hoping that actually.
Oh,
makes
that
it
would be
into
so
something.
good for the new lineup
Nice.
promo.
Because she did respond to me and said she'll see if she can do something.
That would be so cool to put in the new lineup
Nice.
promo.
It's definitely a line one could use to enforce that the block's not going
The
anywhere.
Revolution will be televised.
All right. Did anyone else have any shows they wanted to throw out there?
I'm guessing that it's not going to be a classic show. They seem to be very into putting out newer shows or unfinished business type
I'm gonna
shows.
say if Funimation can, with Bandai holding up Outlaw Star Blu-ray, or I don't even know what the hell is going on over there. If they can get the Blu-ray sometime this year, I mean, I think Outlaw Star will probably be back on Toonami maybe this year. But that's my big pie in the sky prediction on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Bandai seems to be holding these shows for a very long time.
I hate them.
Like Sentai has, I don't think Sentai's even gotten any of Bandai's shows yet.
No.
But isn't it mostly an issue with Sunrise not sending stuff, or?
Sunrise, Bandai, they're the same company.
No, they're not.
I don't know.
No. And I don't get what's going on with some of these non-Sunrise shows. Like, I don't even hear about some of these. Like, who's gonna buy the rights to Pilot Candidate?
The better question is who's gonna buy the rights to Wolf's Rain.
Oh, don't make me cry.
It's gotta be Funimation, right?
You
It's
know.
Bones.
If we want to cry, let's bring up Cyborg 009 again and debate whether Sony is still sitting on the rights to that.
Blood Plus.
There's nothing to cry about. Blood Plus. That's still on Netflix.
No, I said
Rurouni Kenshin is on Hulu and Crunchyroll. Though the video quality is
Aniplex holds the rights to Kenshin now.
Yeah. What's going on with half of those Aniplex shows, like ROD?
ROD is in Aniplex's hands. They released the show themselves in 2013.
Yeah, Aniplex, they released the show once and then they're done. One and done.
Yeah, they released both the ROD, the TV, and the original Read or Die OVA in 2013 at a much more expensive price than they were originally, and then they haven't done any reprints.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for someone to finish dubbing Lupin the Third Part 2.
Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me with my DVDs and my entire
Case closed.
collection.
Yeah, case closed.
Shin-chan.
I'm so happy that
I will end you.
I'm just hoping Doraemon gets more episodes.
Just need to get a big enough stick to start poking
Discotheque.
All right.
I'm so happy Discotheque.
We spent about 20 minutes trying to wrap it up.
You are very bad at rapping.
Yeah.
Well, that's very typical.
I'm the only white rapper in the land. No, I'm not. It's too many white rappers.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we've about. If anyone's still listening to us ramble, we should probably let them stop.
We're forcing you to stop right now.
Stop
Get-
it.